Part 2, Sagittarius. I can't even explain how I got cut off, but then I had to make dinner, and just so you know, I have a lot of Sagittarius rising in this house. There are 3 of us. So there's a lot of Sagittarius energy. So you'll have to excuse me when I channel the message for Sagittarius. It's very much for myself and my family as well, so it tends to attract my family to call me and come to me. But yeah, let's finish it out. Let's talk about it. So I've already talked about some of the elements here, and I really wanted to bring attention to the fact that this is about your fire, your emotional fire. For any Sag moons out there, this is a really, really, really special transit. This is a lunar return for you, and it's an activation where your lunar return will have this activation in your month's imprint. Okay, so for the rest of the month, this transit is is in effect for your monthly forecast. That's a big deal. The moon is with Juno. Juno is where we strategize, where we make decisions for the better of everyone, where we make partnerships and alliances that don't necessarily work on all levels but have their purpose. You know what I'm talking about? This is really focusing on those matters. It's focusing on what works best for you when you commit to your own emotional conditioning. The deep reason that you have this freedom fighting, philosophizing, ever expanding way that you have, why do you have that? Well, you're ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is entering a space of your 3rd house. Okay. The 9th house is a Jupiter kind of house. The 3rd house is a Mercury kind of house. It's about the little messages. It's about the day-to-day life. It's about your neighborhood. It's about your siblings. So when we have this incoming of energy to that cerebral space, this mental plane of how you think and why you perceive, where your prejudice lie, what is true for you. When you describe something, how is it being described that's specific to your location and your culture, your upbringing? We only know so much, right? Until we expand ourselves and go out. Nobody knows this like a Sagittarius. Most Sagittarius people will tell you that they love really great cultured food, or that the Travel Channel is one of their channels, or they just have a need for knowledge of old things that came before them, the bigger questions of life, and they want to see places and they want to expand. I mean, everybody wants to travel for the most part, unless you have agoraphobia or something, which some Sagittarians do. Generally, the broken Jupiter Sagittarian. But if that's a lesson for you. If you're a Sagittarius person who fears just stretching out of your own neighborhood, which it's not a typical Sagittarian trait, but you may have those fears. That would be aspected in your chart with like I said, a broken Jupiter. The Jupiter that we're experiencing now is kind of like a broken Jupiter. Okay, the Jupiter we're experiencing now, which is moving into your 3rd house of concepts, your ruler is Jupiter. Okay, this is a big deal because your identity is very much partnered with how you relate to life as an experience, the learning experience of life, right? That's very much an identity. Everything okay? Sorry, babies. Like I said, I have a Sagittarius children, so you'll have to excuse me. There may be pauses. Like I was saying, we have kind of a broken Jupiter right now. So your ruler is not exactly acting the way it normally would when it goes through Aquarius. It went through Aquarius 12 years ago. You know this feeling. Generally, it means that you moved. When Jupiter moves into your 3rd house, you change neighborhoods. Sometimes you gain siblings. Sometimes it means that there is a father figure or a masculine figure in your life who brings children into the world for you, whether that be a partnership or a stepfather or some kind of uncle maybe, and there is like the third house is your sibling house. So you would end up feeling this like connection to this sibling multiplication. But would have happened about 12 years ago. Well, this time it's coming around with a more karmatic force, and it's actually resisting. And it's not that you're getting a bunch of new siblings. It's more like you're getting a bunch of new grandparents. And Sag, I really don't know what that means. I can't tell you completely what it's going to mean, but there is a permanency. Okay, so we're going to play this out with the asteroid Lilith in here. Lilith, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, all in the first part of Aquarius, right? So Sag, this is your third house. So autonomous perception of structured growth is about to change in the way you see and speak and know things. I hope that made sense to you. Okay, another really, really beautiful thing that is happening on this chart. There is an aspect from Juno, which again, the moon is going to be with Juno in your sign, that makes 150 degrees to Uranus in Taurus. This is a forced application. What's going on in Taurus is force. It always forces you through like day-to-day tasks. It's the shit you can't avoid. It's how everything moves too slow for you. Well, everything's about to pick up speed, babe. And it's going to trigger you. It's going to wake you up. You're going to feel it in your day-to-day life. You're going to get this trigger, this snap, where you're just like, no more of this routine. This routine doesn't work. And it's going to ignite you and change the way that you identify with your strategies for love and business and family. Capricorn is your second house, and you will have Cupid and Venus working together with Izion. Izion is another one of those tortured souls. I really suggest that you watch all the videos through. I am making a video at the end of the 12 sessions to kind of round up how it affects everybody's sign, but I really suggest watching all of them because I've given pieces about the mythologies, and I don't want to repeat too much because the information's already there. I will say, though, Sag, with Venus moving into your second house, there really is a calling to you to stand up for what you love. You have to stand up for your values now. Your values have always been very concrete and very stern. It's the reason that you can jump off. Like, it's the reason that you are so confident to jump off about new theories in the world and new ideas and perspectives. And, you know, you have that fire to argue the what if and play the devil's advocate. It's because you have your values with a Saturn ruling and your communication with a Saturn ruling. You understand the give and take. Well, Venus is now in your second house with Cupid, and Pluto's been there a long time, but the sun is on Pluto. As Venus and Pluto activate in the same part of your chart in the second house, you are going to be feeling some very serious emotional connections related to self-worth and how you are feeling empowered and how you lose power. It's a big deal happening in your second house. The vertex of this chart for Eastern Standard Time people is in the fourth house. So Sagittarius, there will be a flip at home. There will be something that triggers at home that changes everything and puts it all in the spotlight, puts all this Aquarian energy of having the proper environment, having the proper communication, having the proper concepts, the proper mental framework. So there is a lot of things shifting in the way that you perceive the world based on how you value yourself, because literally it's you personify, you value, And then you can communicate what you think you are before you actually take stock and investment and feel it out instead of think you know. Your fourth house is Pisces. Even if you are looking at interceptions or whatever, you're looking at the fourth sign of the chart for a Sagittarius rising, Sagittarius sun. If you're looking at the charts, this is your fourth house. And Pisces has had Neptune there since 2011. With Ceres now coming into alignment with Neptune, there is a seriousness that's happening and taking full reins of the ethereal bliss that you have always grown up in. You've always grown up with this kind of magical ideal of what home life should be, even if it meant like wallowing and sorrowing and sucking about it. You had better ideals and you wished for better things and you felt like you were lost or overlooked or isolated. That shit's coming to light now, and it's giving you a sense of value, a new sense of value, because you've seen that you can make it through any of that shit. Again, your sense of value is hard as a rock. It's Capricorn. You know, it's true. So, I mean, you can really look to this chart as a kickoff to use the superpowers that you have, Sagittarius. And your superpowers are knowing where to light your strategies now. It's the fact that you know where to aim the arrow. Your gut knows, your spirit knows. You use your magic powers and your calculations at the same time. And that's what's being activated for you. That's your superpower. It's beautiful, man. It's absolutely beautiful. All right, I'm going to leave it here because you got 2 parts and everybody only got 1. To my fellow Sagittarius risings, yeah. Good shooting. Bye, guys.